Hello, you're watching TVS News at 5 with me, Douglas Elliott. It's Monday, October 4th. Our top story. The search and rescue SAR operation for the missing anglers on board the fishing vessel that capsized near PULAU SATANG and this its third day. Rescuers have intensified their search through assets deployment. However, no clues emerged at 4:30 press time.
The SAR operation resumed at 7 a.m. this morning. Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency Maritime Sarawak Director First Maritime Admiral Zain Azman Muhammad Yunus said the operation today received air assistance from the Royal Malaysian Air Force. Weather-wise, the sea and weather at the location today are a bit turbulent, with wind speeds of 20 to 30 kilometers per hour and wave heights of 1 to 1.5 meters. The total search area was estimated at 795.31 square nautical miles. The search for another victim will continue until the 7th day. Yesterday, 9 out of the 10 anglers were found safe early on Sunday morning.
And the government has urged East Malaysian palm oil companies to consider implementing the East Malaysia Crude Palm Oil Futures Contract, or FEPO, in their risk management strategy to remain competitive globally. Minister of Plantation, Industries and Commodities, Dato' Zuraida Kamarudin, said the establishment of FEPO in Sabah and Sarawak will elevate the Malaysian palm oil industry, especially in setting benchmarks for the global palm oil price.
Zuraidi said FEPO, since its launch in East Malaysia, has contributed 45% of last year's crude palm oil total production, which is timely for the development of the palm oil industry in Sabah and Sarawak. Likewise, she said neighboring countries to Sabah and Sarawak, such as China, can now purchase palm oil in East Malaysia instead. Zuraida said the implementation of FEPO in East Malaysia will also contribute to the development of the economy and provide job opportunities to the people of Sabah and Sarawak. Furthermore, she said the respective state governments will be able to reciprocate the benefits and gain additional incomes from the port activities subsequent to the commissioning of the port tank installations (PTI) for the FEPO market. In 2020, palm oil constituted nearly 3.6% of the gross domestic product GDP and contributed 57% of Malaysia's commodities output to the GDP, not spared by the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. Sarawak Chief Minister Datuk Petinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg said the FEPO contract would provide Sarawak with some assurance that it will serve as a rebalance mechanism, allowing for a refined price discovery mechanism and options for physical delivery in Sarawak and Sabah.
143,000 students nationwide, except in Kedah and Johor, were back in schools after 6 months closure.
Of the total number, 94,000 students are from schools in Group B, consisting of Negeri Sembilan, Pahang, Melaka, Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Penang, Perak, Putrajaya, Sabah, Perlis, Sarawak and Labuan. Schools in Group A, namely those in Terengganu, Kelantan and Langkawi, started their face-to-face school session yesterday. Senior Education Minister Datuk Sri Radzi Jidin said attendance rate is satisfactory while the teaching and learning sessions are conducted in full compliance with the stipulated standard operating procedures (SOPs). During his visit to several schools in Negeri Sembilan, he stated no action would be taken against parents who opt to not send their child to school. However, they would need to notify the school prior. Radzi said a similar trend occurred when schools were reopened in June 2020 and March 2021. He also noted that the attendance rate of Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) and Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia (STPM) candidates are satisfactory.
Buat julung-julung kalinya, TVS menganjurkan teater musikal, irama dan lagu yang mengisahkan percintaan seniman agung Tan Sri P. Ramlee. Melanda hatiku. Menampilkan artis terkemuka seperti Dayan Nurfaiza.
Hai, saya Dayan Nurfaiza. Jangan lupa saksikan Dayan di musical teater, irama dan lagu.
Hafiz Suib.
Hai, saya Hafiz Suhaib. Jangan lupa untuk saksikan saya secara langsung.
Fairuz Misran
Hai, saya Fairuz Misran. Jumpa anda di sana.
serta barisan penyanyi-penyanyi tempatan. Teater musikal, irama dan lagu akan diiringi Simfoni Orkestra Negeri Sarawak, SANS. Saksikan secara langsung Teater musikal irama dan lagu Ahad 10 Oktober pada jam 8.45 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Batik, as interesting as it sounds, is a piece of canvas.
Corok ni kita ingat dalam 30 tahun mungkin nak lebih lah.
This is 30 years old.
Di Terengganu ni masa dulu orang memang kira hairan lah boleh terciptanya batik cantik.
So for them to actually have 10 other stores carrying this brand, I believe is a crazy feat. Join me, Ara Bird, here in Terengganu, only on The Cloth Story.
Hai, saya Dani Faizal, musical theater irama dan lagu Ahad 10 Oktober jam 8.45 malam hanya di TVS saluran Astro 122 dan My TV.
We're back with COVID-19 development as Malaysia's COVID-19 infections dropped 1,418 cases from yesterday's reported number of 9,066 to 8,075 cases today. The cumulative number of infections now stands at more than 2.28 million cases.
Sarawak still reported the highest number of infections with 1,189 cases. The cumulative number of infections in Sarawak is recorded at 216,765. Coming in right behind Sarawak is Kelantan with 1,020 cases, followed by Pulau Pinang 853 cases and Johor with 781 cases. Other states which recorded below the 4-digit mark are Selangor 686, Sabah 677, Terengganu 636, Kedah 628, Perak 548 and Pahang with 522 cases.
And about 90 and 88% of Form 4 and Form 5 students nationwide have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin on Twitter said it was necessary to ensure that the students could return to class safely as schools reopen today.
About 94,000 students returned to schools today, while 47,000 students in Terengganu, Kelantan and Langkawi, Kedah, started face-to-face classes yesterday. As the first batch of students to return to schools are those sitting for examination, school sessions will use a hybrid rotation method with the weekly attendance set at 50% capacity of classes to reduce the risk of COVID-19 infection. The government is targeting 60% of teenagers between the ages of 12 and 17 to get at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine by November and 80% of them to be fully vaccinated before schools open for the 2022 session.
Meanwhile, the government has been advised to proceed with the heterologous vaccination plan or the use of a different vaccine from the original vaccine received by an individual as booster shots. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the recommendation was made by the Technical Subcommittee to the COVID-19 Vaccine Supply Access Guarantee Special Committee or JKJAV at a meeting last week.
Dan jawatankuasa kecil teknikal yang dipengerusikan oleh Dr. Kalairasu Peresami, pengarah Institut Pendidikan Klinikal, telah pun mengesyorkan kepada jawatankuasa jaminan akses vaksin untuk booster dose ataupun untuk dos penggalak yang kita akan mulakan pada bulan Oktober ini, dan kajian berkenaan dengan keselamatan ini telah pun dilaksanakan dan disyorkan untuk kita teruskan dengan program Heterologous Vaccination kita. Terima kasih.
Prior to this, the government had considered the method of mixing two vaccines as part of the implementation of the National COVID-19 Immunization Program PIC to increase antibody neutralization and the effectiveness of the vaccines as done by many other countries. Meanwhile, individuals who cannot be given the COVID-19 vaccine due to medical-related factors can apply for a special digital certificate or vaccination exemption at MySejahtera through the District Health Police Office PKD.
Individu tersebut boleh memohon sijil digital khas atau sijil pengecualian vaksinasi di MySejahtera melalui pejabat kesihatan daerah berdekatan dengan mengemukakan borang khas slip penilaian kesesuaian menerima vaksin COVID-19 bagi pesakit dengan masalah kesihatan tertentu yang telah disahkan oleh pakar perubatan seperti berikut.
He added the digital certificate through MySejahtera will be obtained within a week if the application submitted is complete and meet the stipulated conditions.
A massive leak of financial documents, known as Pandora Papers, was published by several major news organizations on Sunday that allegedly tie world leaders to secret offshore wealth. The dump of more than 11.9 million records, or about 2.94 terabytes of data, came 5 years after the Panama Papers leak. 2 Malaysian individuals were named in the papers, while 118 offshore companies were linked with Malaysian owners.
The US-based International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, ICIJ, said the files are linked to about 35 current and former national leaders and more than 330 politicians and public officials in 91 countries and territories. However, it did not disclose how the files were obtained. One of the names that appeared in the papers is King Abdullah of Jordan, who was alleged to have used offshore accounts to spend more than $100 million or 417 million ringgit on luxury homes in the United Kingdom and the United States. A London law office representing King Abdullah denied the allegation, told media that he had not misused public monies or made any use of the proceeds of aid or assistance intended for public use. The documents allegedly tied Czech Republic's Prime Minister Babis to a secret $22 million estate in a hilltop village near Cannes, France, days ahead of the country's parliamentary election. Meanwhile, the documents also revealed Joe Low and his connection with Baker McKenzie, the largest law firm in the U.S., who helped create network companies for the fugitive financier in Malaysia and Hong Kong. He was accused by American authorities to channel misappropriate funds from 1MDB.
And that's all the time we have for News at 5. For the latest update, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and even TikTok. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you, and till then.